Some very sad and delightful news. The trailer for Nope, the new film by Jordan Peele, is out, but sadly, Ivan Reitman, the creator of Ghostbusters, has died recently. And given the massive success of Ghostbusters Afterlife, a lot to speculate on where the Ghostverse will go, what this means for his legacy, and how to situate his films. But given despite how many range of films he's done, I think overwhelmingly he's probably going to be most well known for the horror comedy genre that he helped create and which is still thriving. And Nope is sort of following that tradition, but I think in a weird way. So, what is Nope itself? Well, the trailer is a little distortive, doesn't provide us too much information. It has some of his former actors he's already worked with, but it's really strange and odd. We don't quite know what's going on, but I'm going to speculate, as many have, that this is an alien invasion movie. And there's one shot in particular with somebody on a motor bicycle, and they're using a video camera, and it seems like we see a kind of UFO. So it does seem he's going to go down this route of alien invasion or the body snatchers. What he's done in his previous films is sort of look at prior horror films and just updated them, but with a kind of twist, with a lot of comedy, but also a layer of social commentary, which is very deliberate. And it's mainly focused on Black people, which seems appropriate for Black History Month, but it is, of course, meant to be applying more generally. Though the first one, I think, Get Out, was specifically for a certain audience. And I liked Get Out, and it was a very ambitious film, but I did feel it had a lot of issues and problems, but it definitely marks him as a major talent. I guess I'm sort of in the school that I think Jordan is very talented, but I don't think he's as talented as he thinks he is. And this seems to borrow a lot, not just from Ivan Reitman, Paul Thomas Anderson, Ari Aster. It has a lot of comedy, but it's absurdist comedy. Sort of, his characters are acting so outrageously crazy or stupid, they can't be real. And he's sort of just embracing that fully. The trailer itself didn't really work for me, but again, can't deny he's a good voice. At least it's not an MCU film. It's good that these kinds of films are being made, that he has the backing and financial capital to basically just do the film he wants to do. So never deny him that. He is definitely a legitimate artist. But is he a great artist? I don't think Nope solidifies that. It just brings into question both his good points and bad points of using a lot of style and flash, but not much else there. But in terms of Ian Reitman, that's a much more difficult thing to do because however you look at him, this is a man who wanted box office and financial success. He's a very commercial director, and I myself have a lot of good things to say about Ghostbusters 2. But there's no denying that was a very commercial project, as was the first film. But it was such a massive hit that it sort of put the franchise in a difficult position of trying to consistently be a box office smash, whereas the first film was just kind of an accident and a really ingenious creation. But in terms of following it up, it's been a little bit all over the place. And Ghostbusters Afterlife had this much more family feeling involved. And that's perfectly legitimate. I don't think it fit tonally with the other two films. So these are great films, and he helped helm all of them, but they're very uneven in quality. And he did so many other films beyond this genre, but this is still probably his most recognizable film and the one he's probably going to be most known for. And they've been actively planning to do more Ghostbusters projects because if you looked carefully at the credits at the very beginning, they even set up a whole corporation for this. So they definitely do want to do a Ghostbusters verse, and they were just waiting for the success of Afterlife. And Afterlife is a legitimate hit. But his son has said he liked doing this film, Afterlife, but he wasn't committed to doing these other films. So probably he's going to take a kind of producer role or be a little bit in the background and just help others expand the universe. But where they go from here is unknown because, spoilers, they do sort of promise that the Ghostbusters will come back, but it's a little bit unclear because Dan Aykroyd is actually for killing them off in the next movie. Some fans don't want to do that, but again, they are getting very old, so it's unclear how they're going to proceed. Is it just going to be these new young Ghostbusters? They're going to move to New York? It's a lot of unanswered questions, but they sort of situated Ernie Hudson as this kind of Nick Fury kind of role where he'll be, I guess, coordinating the new Ghostbusters. So a lot of speculation about what they're going to do now. But obviously the family's mourning, as they should. In terms of the wider Ghostbusters universe, yeah, it's unclear if they're gonna keep kind of the original tone of mixing horror and comedy, or they're gonna move in this much more kind of franchise-friendly direction and be more corporate, try to be more PG rated, and so on and so forth. I think Afterlife struck mostly a good balance, but again, that was Afterlife. And it was fine that they did a lot of nostalgia for that film, but it would be really sad if they just kept doing that over and over again with the new films. But we'll have to wait and see. But so far, I'm not impressed with Nope, but this is a tricky thing to do. When you do horror and comedy, it's not always done correctly. I didn't like it at all with Hereditary, which I think basically is a comedy, but not a good one. But with Midsommar, I was much more impressed, and I think Ari's on the right track. Maybe Jordan will finally realize the promise of how to do this genre a lot of justice. And there we are.